This is the garden update for July 18th, 2022. And what you'll find today is that in the past 3 weeks, some stuff has progressed, other plants have regressed. For example, not so much a regression, but a lack of progression. You see my tomatoes are store-bought because my tomatoes are not blushing yet, which is kind of annoying because I have pictures from last year. July 12th, I was getting full-on tomatoes, tomatillos, peppers, and everything. But not everything is going slow. So there's a bunch of celery in there, but otherwise we've got plenty of cucumbers, zucchini, squash. I don't grow pizza. And then because I'm getting so many cucumbers, I'm thinking we'll have plenty of jars of pickles, which I've never actually done before. So I'm curious how those will come out, but they have a few more days to finish off. The sunroom is now essentially a sauna. I don't know if sauna is the right word. Saunas are usually dark, but the cactus is loving it. Okay, all my spare plants, can't so much call them plants anymore, but this guy is actually pretty huge, which is good because for 3 years it just kind of stayed the same size and I kept it inside all the time. We've got actual eggplants. Yay, eggplants. It's too hot right now to get meaningful lettuce, so I keep trying to plant the root balls as we get the lettuce, but yeah, they're mostly not surviving. I have to replace my flat parsley because it just started doing nothing but bolting, so I cut it all the way back, but it's still trying to bloom. But the curly parsley seems to be good enough for now. And the lavender, even though I've not used it for anything yet, is looking amazing for a plant that's in its second year. Very leggy tomatillos here. I guess I gotta get you a support. But yeah, as far as the tomatillos go, it's a lot of flowering, not so much fruiting. And especially if I'm going to do those pickles, I'm going to need a new dill plant. I spread out some stuff in here. One of those puny eggplants kind of gave up, so I threw one of my pepper plants in there. And it looks healthy enough. It's got some time to go. We'll see if it can actually produce before the season's over. Same goes for this one, this eggplant. And then my basil looks so sad right now. So does my oregano. So what happened was the pots started getting some fungus in them, so I took them outside and they don't seem to like that all that much. Now that traditional basil on the left side there, I've got to give it credit because I've had that since the winter and normally I don't get that much time out of a basil plant. I have spread out some of the super hot peppers. Come on, flower already. The super hot peppers are really interesting though because they tend to have the really wrinkly leaves that basically say, hey, I'm going to hurt you. So the more wrinkly the leaves are, the more excited I get for them. Some more tomatillo and tomatoes. So the containers are a little bit behind. This eggplant is in its second year, so I mean, they don't look as pretty as they did last year, and they're certainly not as large, but they're still perfectly usable. So I'm taking advantage of that. So the birds have beaten me to my berry patch. I think I've eaten like a blackberry. I'd say between 1 and 3 blackberries. And then my onion patch, which this had been weeded in the past 3 weeks. And yeah, clover's kind of relentless like that. The onion patch seems really stunted. There's a reason why I call this the junkie patch. And I never did replace the bean plants. They were still producing, and As far as I could see, most of the beans still looked pretty good, like this one. So I'm finding that as long as I'm staying vigilant about actually getting the beans, and there's it's a wax one. And not letting them over ripen or anything, like it's still going. And they don't come out as big as they did in the first round, but still perfectly good for snacking on. So got some immature peppers here, although I think this one will just stay green. This is probably a poblano. And then we got some bells. I never get bell peppers as large as what you would find in the grocery store, but their flavor makes up for it. Cayenne. Where is it? Maybe not. That might be something else, because this one's definitely cayenne. Those will turn red sooner or later. And plenty of large-ish tomatoes, but none of them ready to pick. I'm not too big on getting green tomatoes and frying them up. And I'm having to keep ahead of the little branches off of the plants that are getting decolored. Okay, this is probably my favorite one of all. It's got the nice wrinkly leaves, and I am pretty sure these are ghost peppers in the works. So very, very excited for those. I think this, early to tell for sure. It might be a habanero, and I say that only because these leaves aren't quite as wrinkly as what I see on this one. This one, oh, there is a fruit on it. Yeah, I can't even tell yet. And I believe that is Hungarian wax, and I have been able to pick a few of these because these are supposed to just be the yellowish green. So they don't have too much heat, but they're good to add as a cooking ingredient. In fact, I'm making paella that calls for bell peppers, but I'm actually just going to use the Hungarian wax. Oh, sweet. I'll have to come back outside and grab these. So these will be the first tomatoes that we've actually harvested, except for the ones that I've dropped while I've been staking and restaking plants. Man, this one went wild. It's crazy. Yeah, so since staking these, some are doing better than others. Looks like more poblano. Or maybe that one is, and the one to the right is another Hungarian wax. This is a bell. And then this is that store-bought one. Grab the name of it. Just super chili. And then this is a Tabasco plant, which I love these peppers, and these come out really hot, so I want this one to start producing really soon. Yeah, I'm not having too much luck with the ones back here, just because I never expected the corn to grow to the size that it has. But speaking of corn, it's actually getting some ears now, and the idea of actually using it for a little bit of privacy screen has kind of done as intended, so that was kind of nice. The tomato plant that literally just grew out of the side of the bed. So if I'm gonna be able to capture the stem on here, but yeah, stem runs right through there, and I've got a fruiting plant out of it. It's a little bit unnerving actually, but at the same time. This one has the shape of bell peppers, and maybe this is my colored bell peppers. I don't know. So they may be hops, maybe not. And then more tomatillo plants that just sprung up. This one looks like a cayenne, and then to the left of it, or well, from this vantage point behind it, some other hot one. I don't know what kind though. And I think this one is just a straight up bell. Could be wrong. Tomatillo plant growing wild. So many flowers, no fruit. No tomatillo means no salsa, which is kind of annoying. Squash, the spaghetti squash plant did something interesting. So this one, I'm actually surprised that it's actually started to turn its correct color. This one looks like it crossed with the zucchini. So we still eat it like a spaghetti squash, but they're, I don't know, it's kind of fun to plant them and get like mystery colored things. The cucumbers have indeed taken over everything, and cucumbers are weird because if you keep them on the vine for just one day too long, they will grow really massive and basically not really taste good. Like they're still usable, but not nearly as much. So there's one that I'm leaving for now. Just want to get that filled out. And then there's another one. And to add to all of this, all the squash plants, the cucumber plants, they have little thorns on them, so they are not actually too pleasant to touch. Oh man. I think I'm going to let that spaghetti squash go for another day. I'll come back for it tomorrow. But I did harvest some zucchini and summer squash this morning. And I had 3 watermelons on here. 2 of them just started rotting, so I pulled them off the plant. And I'm just letting the 3rd one get all of the resources. Hoping that it holds out. Pretty excited for it if it does. Oh my gosh, and then there's another summer squash that I swear, like, wasn't there this morning. At least not ready for harvesting. Then my neglected patch. Yeah, this is more of the same. Not really anything new to see here. But yeah, hopefully we won't have to wait another 3 weeks to get some tomatoes and hot peppers.